for having me on your channel this evening. I know you're always in touch and everything. Um, Going to your question, and before your question, I will make the intro because you always tell me to do intro. You understand? So my name is Engineer Adedeji Doherty. I was the former state chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Also a businessman, a private sector man, and I was also the national deputy secretary, okay, of the People's Democratic Party also. And today, after the convention, sorry, after the convention, I emerged as the national vice chairman of the Southwest. So thank you very much for having me.
So, sir, 2027 is at the corner, and in Lagos State, we haven't seen any candidate that comes out for PDP as a government. So, what is your reaction and your take to that as the chairman?
Well, I think the whole process of picking has just started. We've just completed the World Congresses, we've completed the state congresses, the local government congresses, and we've also completed the zonal congress, and then we've also, done our convention. You understand? So I believe that there's a process. We started selling our forms just about a week or so ago, a week and a half ago, and I believe that some people have started buying forms. I'm not sure if anyone has bought forms yet for the governorship, but I believe that the senators have bought forms, and House of Representatives have bought forms. House of Assemblies have also bought some forms. So I think it's a process, and I'm sure by next week sometime, I'm sure that one or two people would have also picked up forms for the gubernatorial. You understand? So I believe this is an ongoing process, and we're definitely going to get there.
So, now we can see the rumor and the noise going on that PDP is not settled, your house is not settled, and your house is not settled. But we can see that in Lagos, being in your office, we always see different group of woman people from PDP, like seeing people coming in, making meeting, going out, different caliber of people. What is the secret behind this gathering in your place, in your home?
Well, like I said, I was a former state chairman of the party, and I'm now the um, national vice chairman of the party. So I have different um, members of our party in various states coming in and going out. You understand? Some of them have clarifications to do, and some of them just come on visit while they're in Lagos. And then we also have a huge number of members that, funnily enough, they still remain in our party, which is the People's Democratic Party. You understand? And like I've always said, our party has the wherewithal and the capacity to take any shock in this democratic dispensation. You understand? Having said that, the issue of crisis in our party is gone. You know that everybody, all factions were waiting for the Supreme Court ruling. You understand? And that ruling has already come and gone. And I believe that that puts an end to the crisis. There are no more factions. It's only one PDP now. And everybody knows that that PDP is led by Abdul Rahman Mohammed. And the secretary is Senator Samuel Ayom, you understand? And our national leader still remains, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike.
So, with these names you mentioned now, and you believe there is no any faction which we call the apex court in ways that they dismiss the cross appeal bill by Musonke. That was 5 days ago. So, from your own point now, how do you, is the unity still there with both Wike and Governor Makinde?
Issue of Governor Makinde and Governor Wike, can be settled between the both of them. You understand? But my own philosophy is this: that if you are going to come to equity, he who comes to equity should come with clean hands. Governor Wike, if you know him very well, is someone that is very open, very clear, very simple. You understand? And I believe that it is for Governor Sheyi Makinde to retrace his steps and try as much as possible to reach out to him if he can. You understand? It shouldn't be an ego thing. I believe that it is something that these are both two matured men, and I believe that they both know what they want. So, if Governor Makinde feels that it is time for him to create peace, you understand, between himself and his brother, then we leave it to him. You understand? And if he doesn't, then we leave the rest to God.
Thank you very much. So, what would be your word of advice to the youth, especially this time we have? Your message and your advice to them.
Well, my advice to the youth this time around is the People's Democratic Party is going to be fielding quite a lot of youths for House of Assembly and and House of Rep. You understand? So I will employ that the youths who are the leaders of tomorrow should try as much as possible to reach out to those that are going to be representing them. Your voice needs to be heard. It is not only just sitting down and getting on social media to talk and things. Engage yourselves together. Engage with the youths that you are putting forward. You understand? In the political space. You understand? 2027 is, I term it as the year of the youth. The youths are going to determine who is going to win this election. I'm talking about the governorship, the House of Assemblies, you understand, the refs, you understand. And this is the time to stand up for your right. This is the time for youths to stand up and say that they want something, they want to be included, in policy making, in government, you understand, So it is the time for them to vote for their fellow youths that are going to come out en masse in this election. So I employ youths of Lagos State, I employ the youths of Nigeria to please come out, to come and vote for members of the House of Assembly, members of the House of Representatives that are youths also. And these youths are the ones that are going to represent them, in the various arms of government. This is your time. This is the opportunity you have, and I believe that you should take it and use it wisely.
So thank you. So we're going to the last question, but I'm still going to come to Lagos State back. We can see that people are clamming about the tax of the governor of Lagos State, especially people that they have a big complaint there, and people that they are staying here and they make their living here. So what angle do you see that?
Yes. Well, I believe that Mr. President has done quite a lot. Mr. President has done quite a lot. Mr. President has done quite a lot. He has removed subsidy. He has taken the savings from subsidy now. and transferred it to the governors of states. Okay?
Yes.
And the governors are supposed to enrich the pockets of the masses. Now, there's a disconnect that I see that is happening there. You understand? And that is the governors are not helping Mr. President in achieving, you understand, his renewed hope agenda. You understand? And that is where the problem is. A lot of Nigerians are looking at Mr. President as the person that's supposed to make their lives better. Yes, he can, but the Constitution does not allow him to a certain extent. What the Constitution says is that a certain percentage of whatever you get must be given to the governors. A certain percentage of whatever you get must be given to the local government. So now, Mr. President now gives these funds to the governors and give to the local government. But what is happening now is that the governors are stampeding the local government and twisting them to take the money from them. And then even the ones that are given to them directly by Mr. President, they are not doing anything with it. It's just fizzing out. You understand? And that is where we come in. You understand? And that is where we get angry. And that is where we can stand and say Mr. President is working, but the governors are the ones that are not doing anything. Let us give an example. Okay, look at what Mr. President has done even in the power sector. In the power sector, he brought in this band A, band B. With all sense of sincerity, the power is better than it was before. You understand? And I believe that is the issue that is going on. You understand? You know, in the power now, what do we have? We have a situation whereby Mr. President has opened up the doors of the power sector to the private sector, which is the Gencos. Now, what are the Gencos doing? They're just using it. They are not able to enhance what they bought during the privatization. But what Mr. President has seen is that they are not able to deliver like you want. So what has he done? He shifted us that support also to the governors. That in your various states, I can sign it out now that you can go into power distribution. You understand? And even transmission. You understand? So he has done that. The governors have the money because he has put the money in their pockets, but they are not doing anything about it. You understand? Now, Mr. President, about 2 months ago again, now said, you know what? I'm also putting money in the hands of the local government. Now he's giving the local government, he said he wants to give them autonomy. You understand? The first governor that said no to autonomy was the governor for your state. For whatever reason. You understand? How can you say local government should not have autonomy if you are not thinking about just yourself? You understand? He now said, okay, apart from autonomy, let the local governments now get involved in power generation and distribution. So you can see that Mr. President is committed to trying to revamp the power sector. You understand? Another example is floating the naira. These are bittersweet decisions that Mr. President has taken to enhance things and to make things better for the common man. But the governors and the local governments are not giving Mr. President the right support for these things to happen. You understand? Let me give you an example in the economic sector. He has floated the naira. Okay? Yes, it affected all of us. I have children schooling abroad. It affected all of us, right? But at the end of the day, it is also a bittersweet thing. If you go abroad, you can have your naira card. You can go to an ATM, right? And push it in there, and it should be able to give you at least $500. And this is Naira card. Your Naira card can be slotted into an ATM in the United States of America, and you can get at least $500 off that Naira card. That never used to happen. I'll give you a scenario that happened. About 2 days ago, a friend of mine was going outside Chicago. When he was coming back, he's driving a Sienna. When he was coming back, his gearbox got damaged. He got a tow vehicle. The tow vehicle towed him to the nearest petrol station. Now, each day his car stays there, he was going to pay $15 per day. You understand? And his house is just maybe about an hour away. It was going to cost him about $250. But he didn't have the money. What did he do? Right from America, he called Nigeria at 1 a.m. in the morning, asking for $250. Now, on a weekend, you can't pay it into the bank. Even if you're going to pay that kind of money into the bank, it is going to be it's going to take like 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
You understand? This is what used to happen before. But today, what happened was that Naira was just sent to his account electronically. And electronically, he went to the ATM instantly and slotted in his Naira card and withdrew $250. And that took him out of that scenario. This is someone that always talks negatively about Mr. President. But I told him that it was Mr. President that allowed that card, that Naira card, to work in America because he floated the Naira. Do you get the whole thing now? So when people are talking about Mr. President, he is not a magician, but Governor Wike, the national leader of the People's Democratic Party, had seen that there is sincerity in this man.
Okay.
Even though he comes from an opposition party, but there's sincerity in this man that he did not see or has not seen in other presidential candidates. You understand? And that is where the difference has come. The alignment in the People's Democratic Party has happened. Mr. President definitely is still working in trying to achieve what he wants to achieve in Abuja. He appointed Barrister Nyesom Wike as the Minister of the FCT. Now, why did he pick him for the FCT? Nyesom Wike has always been known as Mr. Project. Even before Abuja.
Mr. Project.
Mr. Project. You understand? And Mr. President had already seen that Nyesom Wike is a performer. And what Mr. President wants is he wants him to perform, and he wants a renewed agenda for Abuja. And he got the right person. And definitely Nyesom Wike is not disappointing him. You understand? Look at what he's also doing, in terms of trade.
Yes.
Do you understand? Look at what he's doing in terms of production of petroleum. Yes, after removing subsidy, it went up, didn't it?
Yes.
During Buhari's days and during Jonathan's days, we were producing what? How many barrels per day? We are producing between 1.2 and 1.4 million barrels per day. You understand? Now, with Bola Ahmed Tinubu in government, what are we producing? We are now producing between 1.8 million barrels per day and 1.9 million barrels per day. We went up to 1.9 million barrels per day, then we came down to about 1.8 something. And do you see Niger Delta flaming up? Do you see riots in the Niger Delta? Do you see disturbances in the Niger Delta? No, because he has focused on there, he knew what he's doing. Now, the most important thing in governance and in running the country to this extent is that the person that is coming into being a president must have the wherewithal, number one, must have the template of what he wants to do.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, and he must be bold enough to do it. There was one word that has always been used. A lot of presidents have come into this country to run this country, right from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Jonathan to Buhari to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But there is one word that is not synonymous with Bola Tinubu, and that is, oh, the president does not have the political will to do something. With Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can't find anything like that he didn't have the political will to do this or do this or do this or do that. There is nothing, because the bold steps he took during the first couple of days of becoming president or months of becoming president is unprecedented. You understand? So when you look at it and you look back, you see that, oh yes, you can argue that it came too fast. You can argue that it must have been anti-people or whatever, because that is sentiment. Do you understand? You can argue different things. You understand? But at the end of the day, you will know that this gentleman had the political will to do it. You understand? And he did it. You get my point? So a lot of people can say anything that they want to say. You understand? But the main thing is that for the youths that are coming, they are the ones that are going to enjoy and reap from those decisions. Those of us that are we're fathers, we're businessmen, you understand, that pay salaries, that get, staff are on our neck on how difficult it is to move and stuff like that. We know why that things are difficult for them. You understand? And the things that are difficult for them are the basic things. And it's not the president that gives you the basic things. The basic things are supposed to be given to you by the governors and the local governments. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu is only supposed to put money for them to do it. And he has done that. So what else do you want him to do? You understand? So it is a situation whereby people are getting frustrated, yes. People are getting hungry, yes. People are not happy, yes. Who is at fault? The governors. You understand? Because if in Lagos State, for instance, the internal revenue for Lagos State and Park is in the region of 1.2, 1.3 trillion naira per year. Why are we suffering in Lagos? Why should there be any form of suffering in Lagos? Why can't Lagos execute the power project that the same president, all this power thing that we're talking about, Mr. President was the first person to try and create Enron power when he was governor in 1998, 1999.
Yes, yes.
So if he has had that vision and he was already on a mission to create a substitute to NEPA at that time, why can't Lagos State do that now? With all the money in their pockets. You understand? Look at the Dangote refinery. Look at the refineries and everything. You understand? He has tried. Buhari has tried. The best thing to do, what he's saying now, best thing to do, hand it over to the private sector, which is the signatory the signing of MOU that NNPC is doing with the Chinese. You understand? Give it to them, let them go and run it. If Dangote's refinery can work, why can't ours?
Wonder of understanding.
Do you understand? So when we are looking at the living standards of Nigerians and the mood of happiness in Nigeria today, you understand, what you are going to look at is not really what Mr. President has not done, but what he is doing, right? What he has done that has transferred the execution, okay, to the governors and the local governments and the private sector and the banks. Do you understand? It is now for them to run with whatever tools that they have in their hands. You understand? And I believe that in 2027,
Okay.
Mr. President should look beyond borders. He should look beyond APC. He now should stand as the father of all and pick, support candidates that come out for governor in different states, no matter, and mark me, that have pedigree, that have integrity, that have track record. You understand? Return those that perform and bring in those that you want to perform to achieve your legacy. You understand? If Mr. President can stand within 2-3 years and start the coastal Lagos Calabar and start Lagos Badagry to Sokoto, do you understand? This is somebody that knows what he wants to do. You understand? This is somebody that already knows what he wants to achieve. Look at the I-95 in America. It was built